This chapter will focus on the surge of nationalism in the late 1800s. Notice the map of Europe today and contrast that with Europe 200 years ago in 1815 after the Napoleonic Wars. The center of Europe is broken up into various states. There was no Italy, there was no Germany. Instead, the periphery, the outside edges, Russia, Great Britain, France, Spain, they still exist today. So the periphery of Europe was stronger than the center. This would change throughout the 1800s. An economic crisis occurred in 1847 and 1848 due to a potato blight in all of Europe. The potato, as mentioned earlier, has more calories per acre than any other food crop in the world, and the blight devastated the potato harvest, and many poor people depended on the potato as a staple for their everyday life. So this resulted in a call for action by the poor peasants. In France, only 3% of the population could vote. Due to the economic crisis, Parisians revolted. To alleviate the crisis, Louis Philippe abdicated in February, and a republic, no monarchy, was re-established again. All males were given the right to vote, and a 10-hour workday was instituted. Unemployment still remained a problem, and the government did not have a social net to help the poor, such as unemployment compensation, Social Security, etc. The government attempted to respond to the crisis by creating jobs or workshops, building streets, parks, improving roads. This would be very similar to what FDR did during the Great Depression in the United States. However, many rural people moved to France seeking government work. This just exacerbated the situation. The bourgeoisie did not like the radicals in the workshops and decided to shut them down. During June 1848, the workers protested and demanded socialism or a transfer of wealth from the rich to be distributed to the poor. Much of the society were against these urban workers, from the wealthy to the small farmers who had some land value. The French army intervened, killing over 1,000 workers, including women and children. The Republic was saved, and the people elected Louis Napoleon, the nephew of the first Napoleon, as the new president of the Republic. Now, how would the other members of Europe view this situation that another Napoleon became the leader of France? Obviously, they would be nervous. A true Germany did not exist. Prussia and Austria were the largest German states run by the aristocracy. Princes ruled over 27 independent states. Some had a constitutional government, but all were dominated by the aristocracy. Many of the elite who had responded to the ideas of the Enlightenment wanted to create a united Germany. The guild system in the German states was starting to break down. When factories were created, this caused lower prices and skilled artisans were put out to work. They rose up with the liberal bourgeoisie and forced the German leaders to initiate reforms. Prussia and the German states did empower more liberals inside the government. In fact, the leader of Prussia, Frederick Wilhelm IV, withdrew the army from Berlin, giving the city true independence. Members of these liberal factions met in Frankfurt to discuss the creation of a united Germany. They selected Frederick Wilhelm as the new king, although his power would be very limited due to a national parliament. Austria was not invited since it had too many other nationalities in its empire. Before a unified Germany could be completed, the alliance with the artisans dissolved. The majority wanted to break down the guild system and establish a truer form of capitalism. Frederick Wilhelm put down the liberals in Berlin, and the rest of Prussia then restored the other princes to power. The liberal revolution was crushed, but again smoldered for the future. Again, the leading Germanic state was Prussia in the north. Notice it is not connected, it is separated, plus there are a number of other German states. So a Germany would not be created in 1848. In Austria, only 25% of the population was German, a future problem for this empire. Looking at this map, again, the area in the lighter blue are Germanic people within the Austrian Empire, only 25% of the population. 75% are Hungarian, Italian, Croatian, Czech, Slovene, Romanian, etc. Also in 1848, a liberal student and urban workers began to protest in the capital of Vienna. Metternich failed to call in the troops, and very quickly you would have an uprising, and Metternich is forced to resign. A National Assembly meets in August. They pass a resolution ending serfdom. However, the other ethnicities of the empire also start to rise up because they want independence from Austria. The Czechs were first to rise up, but the Austrian army subdued them. The army then marched on Vienna and destroyed the revolution and adopted a less liberal constitution. Louis Kossuth, a Magyar or Hungarian, was a member of the lower nobility. He sought reforms such as an end to serfdom and higher taxes for the wealthy. The area controlled by the Magyars, or Hungarians, also included people of the Balkans. Kossuth allowed freedom of the press, universal suffrage for those that were Magyars, and for a limited time he declared independence for Hungary. The problem for Kossuth was that he did not give the other ethnicities any rights. The Balkan people did not covet to be part of a greater Hungary, and they rose up with the Austrian army and put down the Hungarian Revolution. Kossuth fled into exile. Here you can see on the map all the different areas in 1848 that were triggered due to these peasant and urban worker uprisings due to the potato famine and the high cost of food.